It was around 7 p.m. when the sky over Route 17 began to bleed into a dull shade of purple. The sun had already dipped behind the thick forest, leaving behind a cold silence that felt heavier than usual. I remember checking the time on my dashboard clock, 6:58 p.m. Just 2 more hours of driving and I would finally reach the motel. The highway was almost empty. My truck's headlights sliced through the fog that had started rolling in from the trees. It wasn't normal fog. It was too thick, too sudden. One moment the road was clear, and the next, everything beyond 20 feet had vanished into a pale gray wall. I turned on the radio for some noise, but all I got was static. That's when I saw her. At first I thought it was just a reflection on the windshield, a trick of the mist. But no, she was standing on the side of the road, completely still. A woman, long dark hair covering half her face. A pale dress that looked almost old-fashioned. Bare feet on the cold asphalt. I slowed down. Every horror story I'd ever heard told me not to stop. But something about her posture, it didn't look human. She wasn't shivering. She wasn't moving. She wasn't even blinking. And then she slowly raised her head. Her eyes caught the light of my headlights. They glowed, not like an animal, not like a reflection. They glowed from within. My heart started pounding. I slammed my foot on the accelerator. The engine roared, and the truck surged forward. I didn't look back, but then my phone rang. Unknown caller. I froze. There was no signal on this highway. I had checked earlier. No bars. Nothing. The phone kept ringing. Against my better judgment, I answered it. Silence. Then breathing. Slow, deep, wet breathing. Hello, I whispered, and then I heard my own voice from the other side. Why didn't you stop? The call disconnected. My hands began shaking. I looked in the rearview mirror. She was gone from the roadside. But she wasn't gone. She was standing behind my truck, in the middle of the highway, facing me, even though I was moving at 80 miles per hour. I blinked. She was closer. Another blink. Closer. Her feet weren't moving. She was gliding. I stepped harder on the gas pedal, but the speedometer began to drop. 70, 60, 50. The truck was slowing down on its own. The fog thickened until I couldn't see the road at all. And then the engine died. Complete darkness swallowed everything. The only light left was from my dashboard. And that's when I heard it. A soft knock from the passenger side door. Knock, knock, knock. I couldn't move. My entire body felt paralyzed. The knocking turned into scratching. Slow, dragging nails against metal. I forced myself to look. She was standing right beside my window. Her face was now fully visible. There were no eyes, just 2 hollow black holes leaking thick dark liquid. And her mouth, it stretched too wide. Far too wide for a human face. She smiled. My phone buzzed again. A message. I didn't want to look, but I did. It was a picture, taken from inside my truck, of me. And behind me, she was sitting in the back seat. I slowly turned around. The back seat was empty. I looked at the phone again. New message. New message. She doesn't like being ignored. The truck suddenly restarted on its own. The headlights flickered back on. She was gone from the window. The fog slowly began to clear. My hands were sweating. My breathing was shallow. I didn't stop driving until I reached the motel. When I finally parked and stepped out, my legs felt weak. I laughed nervously, telling myself it was exhaustion, hallucination, stress. I went inside. checked into my room. Room ke-17. I dropped my keys on the table and headed to the bathroom to splash some water on my face. When I looked into the mirror, my blood ran cold. There were muddy footprints on the bathroom floor, bare feet, leading from the door to directly behind me, and written on the mirror in thick, dark letters, "Next time, stop."